Hi everyone, it's Lori with Behavior Education at Spirit Keeper Animal Sanctuary. It is Training Tuesday, August 15th, 2023. And this week, I am out in one of my buildings putting enclosures together. It's about 2 o'clock in the morning on August 15th. And I decided to try a couple of new things as I was doing training sessions with two very special snakes. The first snake is our Savu Python archer, Liasis savuensis. He has only been here a month and this was his 4th training session. And I'm giving you a bird's eye view of the training session. I'm super impressed with this species and how smart he is. I don't know if that is representative of all Savu Pythons, but he has picked up target training so quickly. You'll see tonight, in only his 4th session, I presented the target without food and he immediately oriented towards it, tongue flicked at it, came towards it, and I presented his reinforcer. I just think what's cool about this session is the perspective that you're going to get as you're looking down on him for the training session. And as is typical of him, I never see him all day long. He is burrowed deep under his soil, and I sometimes am scared that he's gotten out and he's not even in his enclosure. But then at night, as soon as the lights go out, he comes out and he climbs. He climbs as high as he can get in his enclosure. And that's where I found him just a few minutes ago at the start of the training session. He was on top of one of his nets and he was looking out the top of his enclosure. Welcome to this overhead view of Archer's training session. I'm approaching his enclosure. I've already opened the top and I'm placing the camera directly above him. I am presenting the target from the front of the enclosure towards his net, and watch his head. As soon as he sees the target, he turns and orients towards it and tongue flicks at it. You can just see the blue target there in the upper right. When I present the reinforcement, he does not hesitate whatsoever to take it, snatches it, coils and wraps it. He is just the neatest little snake. And so this being only his 4th training session, as soon as he turned his head towards the target, and he did it so quickly and confidently, I reinforced him immediately for that. So in the early sessions, you want to reinforce for the slightest little orientation or acknowledgement of the target, and you just want to move on one baby step each session until they have done it over and over again. And you can start stretching them further and further, which sometimes isn't until they've done 10, 15, 20 sessions. The second training session tonight is also another very special python. It is our Morelia carinata, or our rough-scaled python. His name is Sangrel. And I decided to try and hold the camera and the target in one hand at the same time. And so you're going to get to see me basically holding the target and the camera, opening his enclosure door, picking up his food with my other free hand, and doing the target training session that way. One thing I found interesting is he oriented to the camera, to my phone, before he oriented towards the target. Keep in mind that cameras, telephones, they do emit a certain amount of IR radiation, which pythons can sense because they have heat sensing organs in their mouth, heat sensing pits. So he oriented towards the camera first. Whether he was curious about it, whether he sensed the IR, or whether he's just used to that being part of the training session, I don't know. But I waited him out. I waited for him to go and touch his target as he's been trained to do. And then I delivered his reinforcement. So I hope you enjoy both of these training sessions, and I will give you a quick glimpse of the enclosure that I just put together. Okay, I'm going to give you a play-by-play. I am outside of his enclosure. I walked by. I went over to get the tongs and get his reinforcer, which is a small mouse. Last time I fed him, he had a really big meal, so this time I'm giving him a small meal. So here I'm opening the door to his enclosure, which he's already at. And now I'm waiting for him to notice that I'm there with the target. So he notices me immediately. He's very, very perceptive, and he usually watches every single thing I'm doing. So you can see that he's coming directly towards me, directly towards the camera. And that's not what I want him to do. I want him to look at the target. And he is supposed to look at or touch the blue half of the target. That's what I've trained him to do since he was a baby. So I'm just waiting for him to figure out to do that, which he does right now. Great job. And then I offer him his reinforcement. I didn't realize that it was bleeding at the face. This is a frozen thawed mouse. He takes it pretty gently. Some of my snakes are super picky, and if they're bleeding or if they're torn open, they won't take the feeders. But Sangraal went ahead and took it. I shook it a little bit just to instigate him to coil and wrap it so that I could move him back into his enclosure. I didn't want him eating that hanging out, potentially dropping it. Plus, I wanted to shut the door. So here you're getting to see a close-up look at his rough scales. Morelia carinata is the only python species that has rough scales or keeled scales, similar to those of a bull snake, for example. I thought it was really interesting that his tail was waggling there. These snakes are very closely related to chondros or green tree pythons, Morelia viridis, which do caudal luring, which means that they will wag their tail in order to try to lure prey to them, like birds, thinking that it's a worm. And then when they come up to the tail, they will move around, of course, and strike and wrap it. But he was wagging his tail while he was eating, and I'm not sure if he was just that aroused or if it was because I was standing nearby while he was eating, and that was sort of a defensive tail wag. But I thought it was super interesting. I'm glad that I was able to catch that on camera for you. Now we're going to take a look at the enclosure that I'm putting together. So this is the enclosure that I just put together. It's a 4x2x2 black box cages enclosure, and it was designed with a screen top because it was one of several sent to us for the Python Regis SPI study. Now, as it turns out, I don't think this particular one is going to be used for that study because we had to drop some animals from the study. So one of my other study animals for a different research project I'm doing is likely going to go into this enclosure, and that's a Liasis fuscus or a Papuan water python. But I wanted to show you that this is just one of the options Black Box Cages has, is the option for a screen top. And for the particular study this was designed for, we needed a screen top. I do want to show you that if you order the screen top from Black Box Cages, they send the PVC cutout with it, and it's routed and everything, so that at some point if you decide not to use the screen top, you can set this right on top. It sits in there just like a puzzle piece, and now you have a PVC top. And you can attach things to it right through the screen, fixtures or whatever from the inside. I would show you how it fits on, but I already have this fixture attached to the screen, so I'm not going to put this on right now, but I can show you another one where I have added this. But this is a really great and neat feature where you can have a screen top but also have the option of a PVC top in the same enclosure, and I really, really like that. Now I'm in the middle of putting this together, so it's actually smells really bad right now because I just siliconed it, but this is what the screen top looks like from the inside. I have attached a sky hide hanger and a sky hide to the screen top using zip ties, so that worked out fine. I really love these Black Box Cages enclosures. They're so versatile. You can get them with or without shelves, either permanent or removable shelves, and I have several that are like that. You can get them completely with PVC tops, and they will route it for whatever fixtures you want, and they will even put the fixtures in if you order the fixtures from them. As you can see, I have two more down here to put together. Here are two in my quarantine room, and these are put together. This one is housing a Liasis maclati, Macklot's python, who is in blue. So he is not out tonight, but you can see that this one also has the screen top. And I've attached things to his screen top. I don't think this will bother him if I open the door. Like his net and his sky hide. And then I have another one put together down here that does not have a snake in it yet. I will show you that one. And this one I have put the PVC top on it. So it came with the screen top with the optional PVC. I have the PVC top on it, and so I have the sky hide hanger attached to it and the net attached directly to the PVC, as well as the fixtures on the inside. And this one is in progress, and a Liasis fuscus is going in this one as well. And I'm going to try to show you, this is the PVC top installed. The tape came with it and I just never took it off, because when the enclosure arrives, the top piece will have the PVC on it and it'll be taped down. And so you can remove the tape and remove the white PVC cutout if you're going to use the screen. For this particular enclosure, I was not going to use the screen, so I didn't bother to take it off at all, and I just left the tape on there. But if you're going to use the screen, you obviously take the tape off, you take that cutout piece out, and it leaves the screen top for you. Well, everybody, thank you so much for watching. It is time for me to go into the house, or the main part of our facility, and make sure all those snakes are put away and tucked in for the morning. It's time for me to edit this video, and it is time for this 12-year-old Morelia Bredli Salazar to go back into his enclosure and hopefully settle in for the rest of the night / morning and get a good rest all day so that he can come back out tonight and explore. So until next time, everybody, please remember to always be kind and love your animals.